Hey, this is Doug, your realtor here in Utah, and I'm coming from the side of the mountain up here on toward Provo at Provo Canyon. And today I wanted to talk and explain the pricing behind Utah. And I know we're going to talk generalities, and we always do, but I needed to be up here for a couple of reasons. So let's just start with a few of the facts. So fact one is about 66% of Utah is actually owned by the federal government. So it's not, it's not state land or anything that way. A lot of times we can still use it and but it's owned by the federal government. The second part, the second fact to things is Utah, because of the supply and demand issue, we are behind the eight ball when it comes to new construction or construction of homes. We're about 37,000 homes short of where we need to be right now. And according to statistics, they're saying that we need about 178,000 homes prior to or around 2030. So that's a lot of houses. That's a lot, that we have to deal with. So why are we there? Why is pricing in Utah, why does it seem maybe a little higher than other places? Well, so we've got those factors, they play into it. But then we've got two other factors that are right here. One's water, one's dirt. So in Utah, water, as we've discussed in other videos, and I'd have you ask you to go back and check out the water video. Water is all accounted for in the state of Utah. So if you go dig a hole, you can't pull the water out. It's not your water, it's the state's water. But water, because Utah is, I think, the second or third driest state in the United States, water is a premium. So water is one of those things that you've got to consider when everything's going on. So water is counted in a 1 acre foot of water. So what's 1 acre foot? So if you take a football field and you go 90 yards on the football field, widthwise and lengthwise, but oh, hey, cool, we get a big bomber coming over the top of us right now. So you'll get to see a bomber in the background here coming over. That's awesome. There you go. That's an old school, like World War II plane. That's cool. Anyway, so going back to water. So 1 acre foot, 90 yards by the width of the football field, 1 foot deep. So that constitutes, 325,852 gallons. And so, like I said, so when you're dealing with farming and stuff like that, they deal in acre feet. Or when you're looking at a new development, it's acre feet. How many acre feet of water do you need? So that's acre feet. The second one is critical too. It's dirt. Like we said, and like I just dusted everybody with. In Utah, we have a couple of things that impact the dirt, and that's why we're up here today. You can see the mountains in the distance, you can see the lake in the distance, and you can also see that I'm up on the side of the mountain. And so we only have so much buildable dirt that we can build on. So to build on it, you can't have a slope more than 30 degrees to be able to build upon. Now, there's always exceptions, I get it, we understand. But typically that 30 degrees is the threshold. So here in Utah, you've got these beautiful valleys with water. This is Utah Lake here in Utah County. You've got the Great Salt Lake up in Salt Lake and Davis and Weber County. There's lakes there's lakes and reservoirs. So there's only so much dirt between, the mountains that are much more than a 30-degree angle. These aren't rolling hills. These are mountains. So that we go from about 400 feet in elevation down there to over 11,000 feet at the top of Mount Timpanogos. So anyway, so that's the second problem. Now let's look at, I want to compare a couple of things, and I was able to use my brother-in-law just because he's building houses in Alabama. And so I thought, well, that's a great place. I can use that because I kind of know where he's at and stuff that way. So what I wanted to do is let's look at pricing from Utah and compare it to Alabama. Okay. So if we take and just look at an acre in Utah, here in Utah County especially, your acre, to buy an acre of dirt is roughly about $215,000, right in there for an acre. Now on an acre, most of the time that can be split into, quarter acre building lots. So there could be 4 building lots per, but an acre is still going to cost you that 2 1/4. That's here in Utah. So 2 1/4 in Utah. What is it in Alabama? It's about $25,000. So there's about a $200,000 swing between Utah and Alabama. Now, again, there's other constraints too, like we've talked about: mountains, slopes, government owning the land. All of this ties in, but that's one of the big differences, is because dirt's at a premium. $212,000, $225,000 here for an acre, $25,000 in Alabama. So there's about $200,000 difference. So now if we just go to like a 1,500 square foot home, just flat home, right? Nothing exotic, no 800,000 square feet, just 1,500 square foot home, standard, like a 3-bedroom, 2-bath ranch kind of a thing. In Utah, we're going to be right in there about 520, just around 500,000. So we'll call it 520 is where that's going to be. And that kind of, I took an average, so that's old, new, different things. So about 520. In Alabama, you're going to be about 240. So now when you look at it, and sometimes that's a little higher in Alabama too. So that's, again, just kind of an average there where my brother-in-law's building. And so in Alabama, between Alabama and Utah, there's about $200,000+. Well, let's look. So if we look at it, the dirt here in Utah is at a premium because there's only so much of it. Yes, you could go out into the desert, go out toward Delta and find all kinds of dirt, and it would be cheaper, but then you don't have the water. So you've got dirt, you've got to have water, you've got to have the flat surface, not the slope, not on the mountain. And so all of that stuff plays in, and then you have, your different connection fees and things like that to connect water and power and sewer and everything back to the property. All that stuff, I just kind of created that equal. My point being is that, Utah really is at a premium because of the dirt, the water, but we can show that because of, like I said, just what I said. Utah, about 500,000, you're 240,000 for the same house. In Alabama, $260,000 difference. So 200 of the 260 is going to be the dirt. So, anyway, so what are the solutions when you're looking for a house here in Utah? How do we do that? How do we attack that issue? Well, you see things moving. So people and developers have started to build and develop Utah, and they're still building quite a few homes, not up to the speed that we need right now, but it's there. So anyway, so to look at the developers, what they're going to do is they're going to look for just flat, empty dirt with water that they can get into and start looking at. Um, there's D.R. Horton, for an example, bought a big parcel of a ranch or a farm in Salem. Well, it's built big enough and they have enough water that they can put 2,100 homes in there between townhomes and condos and single family homes. And it's a mixed unit and variety there. But anyway, they can put about 2,100 homes in there. But all of that process is still going to take, before they go from zero to all the way built, is probably a good 5-8 years before that's done. And so it takes a while. But what these developers have started to do is they've started to push out from Salt Lake, because Salt Lake doesn't have much dirt left. It's got, about 26,000 acres left that are, kind of there. So, and don't quote me on that one. I'm pulling that one off of memory, off of a chart I saw. So Utah County's got more, but that's because Utah County goes over the mountain to an old dry lake bed called Eagle Mountain. So Eagle Mountain's over there. You go, down south, you're dealing with, Goshen and Genola and farm ground out that direction. And so there's more room in Utah County. So that's why you see so much of the growth taking place south toward the south end of Utah County, because that's where the open dirt is and the water is. You see a lot of building going on to the west of Salt Lake toward Tooele and in Tooele County, Tooele, Grantsville, those places. And then up north in Ogden, you see the growth going north of Ogden toward Brigham City and Perry and out toward the lake in Hooper. And check that one out. That spelling's interesting, but it's pronounced Hooper, not Hooper. It's Hooper. Out toward, again, the Great Salt Lake. So Utah, bottom line, Utah's got limiting factors between the lakes, the mountains, the slope, and then just the amount of dirt and water that are available. So Utah's at a premium, which just explains why, Utah is a little bit more expensive than, say, Alabama, like we talked about. So anyway, I hope this helps explain things a little bit. It also explains the fact that why the pricing here in Utah doesn't go way up and way down, because again, the dirt's a premium. Once there's a house built, it's not changing. It's not going back to farm ground. It's not going back. So you're not going to see those huge spikes and dips in the Utah real estate world, again, because we've got a lot of pressure coming here. And so we've got a lot of people from out of state moving here. The other component to that is there is a lot of education here, a lot of colleges. You've got two of the biggest in the state right here behind me in Brigham Young University and Utah Valley University. Between the two of them, there's all probably close to, there's about 36,000 at BYU and there's 43,000 or so at UVU. So, you're 75,000 students here. Well, if you go back, 100 years ago, back when I was in college, back when I was in college, typically you'd go to college and then you would leave the state to go find work. There's so many great people here with so many skills and skill sets that a lot of the manufacturers are moving here. So on the north end of Utah Valley here in Utah County is Lehi. They've actually started calling that area the Silicon Slopes. So it's not Silicon Valley, but it's Silicon Slopes, because you've got Microsoft, you've got all kinds of tech in there on that north end in Lehi, right between Utah County and Salt Lake County. So the jobs are now coming here, so those students are staying here. So people are living longer. And so you look at all that combination, so out of state, staying here, living longer, there's just more pressure on the housing market here than a lot of other places. But you know, no, just wanted to go through and take a few minutes to kind of explain that. Hope that helps. Hope that helps you understand the housing market here in Utah and why it's really at a premium. Great place. Today, just for your knowledge, this is the end of September. It's almost 90 degrees here in the valley. It's beautiful. Blue skies, you know, no clouds out here. You know, a few planes flying around like we talked about. But I mean, what a beautiful day. And then you can see some of the trees in the background are turning colors. The mountains will turn just absolute phenomenal shades of orange and the greens and yellows, and just beautiful based on what kind of tree is there, whether it's the scrub oak or the aspen or and things like that. So Utah is absolutely a beautiful place. Can't tell you, I mean, I've lived here, raised my family here we've been here almost 24 years now. It is a fantastic place. I'd love to show you Utah and love to show you why and where we can get you the right house at the affordability that you're looking for. So when you're ready, call me. My name's Doug. Like and subscribe if you would. That helps me. And then go check out all the other videos. There's over almost 200 of those videos about different things, water rights, different housing, new construction, all kinds of stuff. Go check out my channel and subscribe to it and follow me. That'll be great. Have a great day and enjoy this beautiful weather.